Alright, hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at this USB car adapter. So this takes the standard 12 volt to 24 volt cigarette lighter plug and turns it into about 5 volts on this mini USB connector. So we'll be taking it apart and seeing how it works. This dash cam became faulty, so I no longer need this power supply. So it's a pretty standard construction. This top twists off and you have your fuse, which is 250 volts and 3 amps. Fast blow fuse. Then we can just take this ring off and separate the two halves. You can see we have the circuit board inside. So the negative of a cigarette lighter always comes in on these leads, and the positive comes through the tip, which is the spring in this case. So you can see we have a 100 microfarad 35 volt capacitor, a 470 microfarad 10 volt capacitor, an LED, and an inductor up here. And then we have a chip and some passive components over here. So here's the schematic. The model of this is JLT-59-D, and I guess it was designed May 30th of 2018. So the 12 volts comes in via this fast blow 3 amp 250 volt fuse, and there's a C3 capacitor, ceramic capacitor of unknown value, and this 100 microfarad 35 volt electrolytic capacitor. Then the positive goes over to pin 4 of the chip, and it also goes to pin 3 via a capacitor C2 and a 665K resistor R3. Then we have the negative 12 volts, which goes to a 10 microfarad 470 volt capacitor, and then through an inductor, which should be 47 microhenries according to this chip data sheet. It goes to pins 5, 6, 7, and 8. The negative side also comes via that 470 microfarad 10 volt capacitor to the 5 volt positive, and then it also goes over here to this resistor, which is 0.04 ohms, to the negative 5 volts. This resistor also goes to pin 3 of the chip, and after this resistor, so basically the negative 5 volts, that also goes in to pin 2 via R4, which is 210K. So the main chip in this is the HX1336, which is made by Hexen Semiconductor. So you can see there's C3, there's the electrolytic capacitor there, you have the resistors and the capacitor, the coil which we're going to test, the other electrolytic capacitor, the 2 leads for power and ground, the little LED here, which I guess I did not draw in the data sheet, but that's the same as the plus 5 volts, but it just goes via a 1500 ohm resistor right there. And that's pretty much it. So we're gonna scrap this for components, and then I'm just gonna check that coil value. Alright, so we're gonna finish this up with a quick component test. So this is a Chong X 105 degree C capacitor, and it says vent, but it actually has no visible vent. So we're going to pop this into our component tester. Let me know if you want a link to a component tester like this. But if we pop it into our component tester, you can see it says 387 microfarads, 0.56 ohms. And if I test again, $384 microfarads. So these can be up to 20% off. So 20% of 500 is 100 microfarads. So this is barely within spec. And the ESR is 0.56 ohms, which I'm not sure if that's really good or bad. These are just general purpose caps. They're not really made to be low ESR. And this actually does have the vent, even though it doesn't say vent. But this is supposedly Chang X with the A. Another 105 degrees C capacitor, 100 microfarads, 35 volts. So let's see. We're just going to bend the leads in a little bit. And make sure the capacitor is seated right. And it tests 99 microfarads, 0.58 ohms ESR. So I think this one seemed a little high on ESR. And it also looked like it was leaking, but that might just be circuit glue. Finally, we'll test this inductor, since I didn't actually know how many microhenries this was. It says 0.05 millihenries. So I believe that is about 47 microhenries, which is the data sheet. On retest, this 470 Chang'e does seem to be out of spec in multiple ways. So yeah, these are definitely not quality capacitors. So this is the Hexen HX1336. It is a wide range synchronous buck controller. So you can see here, wide input range step down DC to DC converter, blah 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 blah. Constant voltage, constant current mode control functions, over protection, over voltage or over current protection, and minimal number of components, as you could see on the circuit board. So it has a wide input voltage range of 8 to 30 volts, which means it both works with 12 and 24 volt cars. And the capacitors they put in allow for that, up to 93% efficiency, over current protection, thermal shutdown, and all that kind of stuff. And you can see one of the applications is a car charger. So in this circuit, you can see the voltage in goes through a 100 nanofarad capacitor into pin 4. Pin 1 goes to ground, and pin 2 goes to ground via 0.05 ohms, which is what that 0.04 ohm resistor was for. So this is mostly the same as the car charger, but it differed a little bit. And obviously that output voltage is going to be set to 5 volts. And if you look, those are the pins. So 5, 6, 7, and 8 were all bridged together. And those are the specs. And it just shows you a little internal diagram here, and electrical characteristics and that kind of stuff. But that is the HX1336 that powers this. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe or follow my channel, and leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching and have a good day.